Google just took the best AI model in the world, Gemini 2.5 Pro, and turned it into a vibe coding app that can build essentially anything. Yet somehow, nobody is talking about this. The app is called Firebase Studio. It's free and it's very easy to use. Let me show you. So first go to firebase.studio, which will redirect you to this page. So click the first checkbox and click confirm. Now here is where we can finally start building. So I want to create an app that looks like TLDraw or Miro, which is a simple whiteboard, web-based drawing board, and then click on prototype with AI. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It created a plan for the app, also known as an app blueprint. It's called Whiteboardly, and here are the features. Freehand tool, shape tool, text tool, pretty good. I like all of these. And then it even gives us style guidelines, color, layout, iconography. So I like this outline a lot. I'm gonna click on prototype this app. And now Firebase Studio is basically building the entire app from backend to frontend. Now, if you really want to understand Firebase Studio, you have to understand Google Firebase. So what even is Firebase? Well, it's a service made by Google that provides backend services to help you build apps, right? And here's just an overview of some of these, such as databases, authentication, analytics, hosting, anything you might need for the backend of your app. Now, what is Firebase Studio? Well, the Studio part is a new product by Google that allows you to vibe code any app you want. So Firebase is a backend service with all these, authentication databases, hosting, all of that stuff, while Firebase Studio is the new AI vibe coding app. Simply put, Firebase Studio takes care of the front end, making this a full stack solution. Okay, so let's go back to Firebase Studio and let's see what happened. So our app is here, and we can actually see on the right all of the things that Firebase Studio did. It created a bunch of files, actually not that many, which is good, keeping the app clean. And it also wants to add Gemini into our app so that it has AI features, which we'll do in a moment, but let's first look if the app works. Okay, so we do have some buttons to draw, create circles, squares, triangles, and some other stuff. However, seems like the functionality is not quite there. And that is because we actually haven't connected the best model at programming, Gemini 2.5 Pro. We haven't connected it to Firebase Studio. So let me show you how to do that, because this is the non-obvious part. In the top right, you can see this button, switch to code. So click on that. This will bring you to the code editor part of Firebase Studio, where you can make a lot more changes than in the prototyper. So I would say if you are a complete beginner, you can stay in the prototyper. But if you're serious about AI and you want to build an app that actually can do a lot of things, switch to the code editor like this. And the main thing is you can actually control which model to select. So in here, this is where we need to select Gemini 2.5 Pro, which is currently best at programming, even better than Claude 3.7 Sonnet with extended thinking. So select Gemini 2.5 Pro Experimental 0325, which will open up this. We need to get the Gemini API key from the Google AI Studio. Now, if this is your first time, take a deep breath. Don't panic. It sounds complicated, but it's actually super simple. All we need to do is click on this link, which will open up the AI Studio. And in here, simply click on Create API Key. Now, you do need to assign it to one of your Google Cloud projects. So I'm just going to select Vectel AI, which is my startup, and Create API Key. And boom, there it is. Now, again, do not share your API keys with anybody. Treat them as passwords. I will delete mine before uploading this video. So click on Copy, go back to Firebase Studio, and paste it in here. And now we should be able to select Gemini 2.5 Pro, and there it is. Make sure Gemini 2.5 Pro is selected. So what I would actually recommend you to do is drag the web on here so you can still see your web app while talking into the Gemini chatbot. So I'm gonna say the main features still do not work. When I click any of the icons, such as the drawing icon, it does not draw any paint on the whiteboard. Fix this. And now the key difference is that we are using the best AI model at coding to fix our stuff. So this change alone, which most people will skip, makes Firebase Studio 3 times better. Okay, so it seems like Gemini spotted the problem. It's in page.tsx, where the toolbar is not being properly set up. And then it suggested some changes, so I'm just gonna update file. Obviously, if this was more a high-risk change, I would review it carefully. But since it's a brand new app, we can just vibe code our way by accepting all the changes. Okay, so let's see if this actually worked. Let's go back. Let's reload the web app. Okay, so after the reload, we can see that there is a few new icons. There is a stroke width and the color picker. So let's say we can do red color, right? And we can do a width. Okay. So now, not only does it draw, we can also select the width and we can change different colors. Okay, so it seems like the drawing problem was fixed, but let's test the eraser. Does the eraser work? No, it doesn't. So I'm gonna say the eraser still does not work. Fix that. All right, so it did some changes. As you can see, it modified 3 things. Let's create some lines and let's test the eraser. Seems like the eraser still doesn't work really. Oh, I didn't update file. So you have to click update file after all the changes, meaning the app is not as agentic as Cursor Agent, for example. But keep in mind, Firebase Studio just came out like 3 or 4 days ago. This is only going to get better, and the fact that they are powering it by the world's best coding AI model is definitely a strong sign. So let's try again. Boom, that was my fault. I didn't, apply the changes. Okay, so now we can actually, wow, we can do a much thicker brush. That's good. And this thickness also applies to the eraser. Nice. Very nice, very nice. Okay, so beautiful. As you can see, Gemini 2.5 Pro is one-shotting all of the features and all of the bug fixes that I tell it to. I mean, this really is an amazing AI model, and that's why I instantly added it into Vectel when it came out. One thing I do want to show you is a brand new feature that we just released called the background agent. No other task management app has this. When you're inside of Vectel.ai, you see your task. For example, set up a new LLC in Dubai. And as you can see, there's a new button right here, activate Vectel agent. When you click this, the Vectel agent will begin autonomously working on this task. Now you can click into it and see the reasoning begin. And this takes like a few minutes. There's a process, right? It starts with reasoning, then it does some web search, summarization, and stuff like that. But the best thing is you can activate this on multiple tasks at once. For example, this task, create a new landing page for my AI startup. Click, activate Vectel agent, and boom, you can see the reasoning beginning on this task as well, right? So it's always adapted to the task, and you as the user don't have to do anything. You can just activate the Vectel agent and go for a break, go for a walk, do some other work, and it will start working on those tasks. So if you want to access the background agent inside of Vectel plus all the other features we have, go to Vectel.ai and get started completely for free. And if you want unlimited executions plus access to all of the best AI models in the world, consider upgrading to Vectel Pro. Now here is why Gemini 2.5 Pro is the best AI model in the world right now. So first of all, it ranks number 1 on LLM Arena, which is also known as Chatbot Arena, and it's a completely blind test, meaning you as the user get 2 LLMs and you don't know which is which, so you choose the one that you think gave a better answer, and that's how they climb the score. So as you can see, Gemini 2.5 Pro is far ahead of the second model, which currently is Chat GPT 4.0 latest, and it's like 31 points in the lead, which is a huge lead. It also has an amazing 1 million token context window, which means it can easily fit multiple books, or if you're using in Vectel, all of your tasks, all of your nodes, all the user context you have can easily fit into every single prompt that you send, which is obviously super useful. By the way, I made an entire video on this AI model, so if you want to learn more about Gemini 2.5 Pro, click on this video. I'm going to link it below as well. Okay, so let's go back to Firebase Studio and keep extending its app. Let's see if the circle feature works. No, circle feature does not work. So I'm going to tell it now, fix the functionality of the circle, square, and triangle features. When debugging your app, you need to clearly describe what the issue is. But also with these reasoning models, by the way, Gemini 2.5 Pro is a reasoning model, you don't have to give them like steps to do it, right? Because they reason about it. And if you see an error, do not take it personally, simply reload it. Now, while this is running, let me show you some of the most impressive things people have built with this AI model. So this guy managed to create a Tetris app just using 2 prompts, and look at this. Honestly, this is very impressive, and especially because I tried to do this like a year ago with different AI models. Okay, so here is the video I posted literally a year ago, and obviously I used the AI models available at that time, and let me tell you, it was much harder than 2 prompts. I mean, the fact that this is now possible with 2 English sentences is pretty amazing. I don't know how to describe it. Literally, you can watch this video. It took me multiple days to get to something that would work like this. And this was just years ago. So the progress in AI is much faster than people realize. Okay, the second example is creating and deploying a mind map in just a few seconds. So the original prompt was an app that turns a theme or a topic into a mind map. Very vague, very broad. Again, you don't have to be a programmer. You can just, as long as you can speak in English, you're good. So obviously this is sped up, but this is Firebase Studio building that mind map app in a matter of seconds. All right, so during the first iteration, when he said how an autonomous AI agent works, the mind map didn't actually render. He could see the JSON. So where most people would just quit and give up and say, oh, AI is not quite there yet, what this guy did, he said, I can see the JSON for the mind map, but not the actual mind map. And then Gemini 2.5 Pro went back and fixed that issue, and boom, there's the mind map. Another impressive example is this simple solar system app, which is 3D and which lets you see the POV of each planet as it's orbiting around the sun. plus some cool facts around the planets. And again, this was built with Firebase Studio in a matter of a few prompts. And by the way, if you want me to make more videos on cool new AI apps, such as Firebase Studio, then make sure to subscribe, because currently only 20% of you watching this are subscribed to the channel. It's completely free, takes 2 seconds to click the subscribe button. So if you're finding this video valuable, please consider subscribing. Okay, so let's look at the changes Gemini 2.5 Pro did to our app in order to make these shape buttons work, right? So here's all the code, but as a true vibe coder, you just trust the AI and click update. If anything goes wrong, you just describe what happened. You literally, this is the secret for errors, right? You clearly and in detail describe the error, when it happens, how to replicate it, and then the models most of the time will fix it. Obviously, if it's something complicated, you might need to get your hands dirty and actually look into the code. But again, for most simple apps like this one, there is no excuse. So let's choose a different color, like orange, I guess, and let's try one of these shapes. Okay, there is a circle, so that's amazing. There's a square, and wow, you can actually make a rectangle. This is very nice. It's very good. Let's try the thickness, and let's try a different color. Green, boom, thick triangle. Amazing. So just like that, the shapes are fixed, literally with a single prompt. Okay, so now you might be thinking, but David, why is Firebase Studio such a big deal? I mean, we had Bold.new, V0, Replit Agent. Why is this different? Why is this special? Well, you have to realize, Firebase is the service powering Firebase Studio. And this is the ultimate backend service for publishing and hosting any app. It literally has all you need to build a successful AI startup on the backend. I mean, I can literally ask Vectel, list out the 10 main reasons why companies use the Firebase service by Google. And again, I'm using the Gemini 2.5 Pro model to answer this. And interesting, for this, it actually decided it should delegate to the web search, which is powered by Perplexity Pro, by the way. So when you use Vectel, even on the free plan, you get Perplexity Pro for free. Accelerated app development, real-time databases, scalable infrastructure, simplified authentication, robust analytics, cloud messaging, cross-platform development, cost efficiency, QA tools, and machine learning integrations are just a few of the things that Firebase can do. And since Firebase Studio is built on top of Firebase, it makes it a very appealing option to build your app on top of. Plus, if you're using it as a IDE or a vibe coding app, it makes the process of turning an idea into a publicly available app easier than ever before. Now let me show you another feature inside of Firebase Studio that you might find useful. To access this one, we have to go back from the code view to the prototyper. And once you're inside of the prototyper, you can click on this, which is the annotate feature. This lets you easily draw on your web app to identify and select what exactly you want to change. So let's say I want to make this button black. I can select any of these tools above, such as the drawing icon on number 7. I can highlight this button, and in the prompt, I can say, make this button black. So let's say you have no front-end experience, you don't know how to describe elements, none of that. You can simply draw upon them and say, make this black, increase the font size of this, move this button to the left, and you don't have to know what the name of the div in the HTML is. You just use the annotate feature to visually tell Firebase Studio what you want to change and how. So this feature basically takes vibe coding and makes it even easier. So it's basically vibe drawing. Like we're literally going to draw simple apps and they're going to appear in real time. That is coming in the next 3 to 6 months. Easy prediction to make. Now, as you can see, inside of the code mode, not prototyper, Firebase Studio is basically a full IDE. I mean, on the left, you can see all of your files. You can see a search, source control, debug mode, extensions, and anything else you might find in a IDE such as VS Code. Now, when I was curious about this, I actually asked Vectel, and sure enough, Firebase Studio is built on top of Code OSS Foundation, which evolved from Project IDX, which itself was a fork of VS Code open source code. So that's why Firebase Studio will look very familiar if you're using Cursor or VS Code, because it is literally built on top of that open source code. But the main difference is that unlike VS Code or Cursor, which you have to download and run them on your computer, you can use Firebase Studio on the web. So even if you have a 15-year-old piece of shit laptop, you can still access this cutting-edge IDE with the world's best AI model and build any app with it that you may want, which is empowering to say the least. Okay, so another important button inside of Firebase Studio can be found in the prototyper mode, and this one is actually super unintuitive and super hidden. You have to click on your project name right here. Not this one, because this one just renames the project, but this one, right? Whiteboardly, the full project name. This opens up the console. And in the console, you can do a lot of things that you cannot do in the prototyper. For example, you can add any of these products into your app, such as user authentication, cloud Firestone. So let's say I wanted to add authentication into our app, right? I'm ready to launch this and I'm ready to add some, paid features, whatever. Well, we need users to authenticate. Otherwise, you don't know who's a free user and who's a paid user. With Firebase Studio, you can do this super easily. You can literally click on authentication, click on get started, then selecting the authentication method you want. So let's say you want email password, maybe you want Google login, GitHub login, Microsoft, Twitter, whatever you want. So let's just go with email password. So when you click on that, let's enable both of these and save. And just like that, we've enabled email and password authentication as the provider. If you want to add more, you can click on add a new provider. And let's say you want Google IF next, or maybe you want Apple ID off. Now there are still a lot more things you can do in the Firebase console than just adding authentication. You can add Cloud Firestore, storage, hosting, and many other build features. But you can also optimize your app with Crashlytics, performance, cloud messaging, remote config, and anything else you might need to scale your AI startup to millions of users per month, honestly. Firebase is a very scalable product. You can use it for company of any size. Plus, the console also allows you to easily add AI-powered features for your app, either using GenKit or Vertex AI. So let's say you wanted to add a Gemini model into your app. So maybe, in our little whiteboard, we would have a button on the bottom left that would allow us to chat with a model to describe some, drawing, and it would draw it for us, right? Just any AI feature, use your imagination. Well, with the console, you can easily do that and use any of the Google's models, which obviously I would recommend Gemini 2.5 Pro. But really, you can use any of the models that Google has to offer and easily integrate them with either GenKit or Vertex AI through the Firebase console. And if you go on the left, let me move my webcam again, you can see even more features. So here are the product categories. Underneath build, you can see app check, app hosting, authentication, data connect, extensions, Firestore database, functions, hosting, machine learning, real-time database, and storage. Then run A/B testing, AdMob, app distribution, Crashlytics, dynamic links, messaging, performance, literally anything you need for the backend of your app, Firebase has you covered. Now, once you're happy with the features and products you added into your app, and once you're satisfied with what your app does, you can publish it with the top right button, publish, super simple. And this is just a 3-step process. First of all, you need to select your Firebase project. And obviously, Firebase Studio uses Firebase app hosting to host your application. So select the project, and then you need to link your billing account. If you don't have one, just click on this link, create a cloud billing account. Takes a few minutes to set up, but nothing crazy. And after you click on next, the last step is to set up your environment. Now, as you can see, I ran into an error. So if that happens to you, don't panic. You just need to go to the Google Cloud Studio, the console, and here set up a new billing profile. So literally just go through these steps. You only have to do it once, but just enter your country of origin, the currency, your credit card, billing details. And then that's literally all you need to publish your app on the web with Firebase Studio. Now, if you're wondering, okay, David, but what kind of apps can I build with vibe coding? I mean, how far can I really get with just vibe coding apps? Well, the answer is you can get as far as you want. For example, I've built my own AI startup, Vector.ai, purely by vibe coding. Honestly, I think I'm one of the only people in the world who took an idea and turned it into a fully working startup that makes over $10,000 a month purely with vibe coding. And all of that, by the way, is documented in the New Society. You can literally see day by day of me building, choosing the idea, creating the project in Cursor, building the backend in Python, and doing all kinds of mistakes and lessons. All of that is in the New Society, inside of the classroom. And by the way, I'm going to link New Society below the video. But really, anything you want to build is possible if you have enough time and if you use the right AI tools. I mean, Vector is a full-stack productivity app with all kinds of different AI features, multiple AI agents such as infinite thinking that do not exist anywhere else. Obviously the background agent, which by the way, this is what it looks like when it finishes running. So since I turned it on for all of my tasks, it finished all of my tasks. So let's click on this one, for example, and you can see that these are the steps to create a Dubai LLC as a Czech citizen. And it even includes all the sources. So this would have saved me like 20-30 minutes of research. Obviously now I live in Dubai, so I don't need this anymore. But let's say if I had this task a year ago when I still didn't live in Dubai, this would have saved me at least like multiple hours of research, right? We have all the sources here. We have what I need to do. And you can turn on this feature for any task in your list. And if you have Vector Pro, you can do it for unlimited amount of tasks. Free users can only do it for 2 tasks at once. So again, this is just the latest feature we added. I mean, Vectel has ideas, right? Idea inbox, where you can quickly brain dump your thoughts. Then you have the task list, which is the main work, your main tasks. Then you have the notes, stuff that you want to remember for a long time. And now we also added projects recently, which is just an easy way to categorize different tasks and different notes into projects. And you can add custom instructions. Now, this is literally a custom system prompt for each project. And if you want, you can even exclude your main user context to have even more control. Basically, Vectel is a full productivity app that you can do all of your work from, with tons of new innovative features that do not exist anywhere else. And it was built mostly by vibe coding. So if you want to start with Firebase Studio or any other AI app, and you're thinking like, oh, I don't know if this is good enough, I don't know if I can build something serious that makes money, I'm literally the living proof. I didn't have any startup experience before this. And I went from zero, literally from an idea, and in 2 months, just by vibe coding, I had a fully deployed startup that accepts payments, and currently it makes over $10,000 a month in monthly recurring revenue in US dollars. So if you have an idea, anything it is, go pursue it, get started on it. It has never been easier to build software ever in the history of humanity. And if you want to maximize the productivity, make sure to go to vectel.ai, sign up. You can get started completely for free. Honestly, the free plan is OP as well. You literally get Grok 3 Mini, Llama 4 Scout, DeepSeek R1, plus all of the main features that Vectel has to offer. Obviously, if you want unlimited access to the Vectel agents and the background agent executions and infinite thinking and access to the best AI models in the world, then make sure to upgrade to Vectel Pro. But either way, no matter what task management app you're using, sooner or later, you will switch to Vectel.ai, so you might as well switch today. With that being said, thank you guys for watching and have a wonderful, productive week. See ya.